Hello, happy Friday. So, last week we talked about what's in your hand as your guiding tool through life, right? It's either a GPS or a compass. And if you missed that, you definitely want to go back and check it out. It's not totally crucial to understanding today's topic, but you'll definitely get the most impact by watching both. So, as I mentioned at the end of last week's Friday Food for Thought, I want to dig deeper into this idea of having a true north. And in particular, how do you identify what your true north is? And I mentioned last week that it's the one thing that you desire more than anything in life. But I want to take that a step further to say that it's the one thing that if you lost everything else, you'd be okay because you've still got this one thing. For some people, that might be money, or it might be recognition, or it might be family, or it might be security. There's all kinds of things. But the thing is that there's no right or wrong answer, and everyone's true north will be different. Even if someone else has the same true north as me, the outcome is still different because the conceptualization of it is different, right? So, for example, my true north is happiness. And I am certain that I'm not the only person on this planet with happiness as their true north. But our outcomes will be different because we conceptualize happiness in different ways. What makes me happy is not the same thing as what makes the next person happy, which ends up in lives lived in very different ways. And again, neither right nor wrong, just different. All right, so let's dig into finding your true north. And I want to preface this by saying that while I'm going to give you a couple tools and ideas to get you started, this is not an overnight thing. It took me 31 years to figure out my true north. And now, to be fair, I wasn't really looking for it for like the first 28 years or so, but you get the point. It takes a lot of reflection, self-awareness, honest conversations, and what I like to call personal bluntness. In other words, you gotta stop lying to yourself. But that's a whole nother topic for another time. So, here we go. Just as I said earlier, I want you to think of the one thing that is the most important to you. The one thing that you absolutely cannot live without. The one thing that if you lost everything else, you'd be okay if you had this left. And maybe it's not just a word, maybe it's a short phrase or something. You have that one thing? All right. Now I want you to ask yourself, what does this one thing bring into my life? In just one word or a short phrase. All right, did you identify the next thing? So I want you to ask yourself again, what does this new one thing bring into my life? In just a word or a short phrase. What does the new one thing bring into my life? Got it? Now ask yourself one more time. What does this new third thing bring into my life? Now, you might be finding it more challenging to answer this same question the more times that it's asked, but that's actually a good thing. That means that you're getting closer to your true north, and it means that you are really digging deep and starting to get honest with yourself. But you still have a little more work to do to truly identify it. And to do this, all you have to do is just keep asking yourself, what does this new thing bring into my life? What does that new thing bring into my life? Until you get to a place of something so large that it impacts all aspects of your life. And that's the second thing that I want to bring up. Once you've done this work and you feel like you've identified your true north, here's another way to check and see if you have really truly peeled back all the layers or if you're still sitting on the surface. So ask yourself these questions. How does this impact my family life? How does this impact my work? How does this impact my health? How does this impact my spiritual life if I have one? How does this impact my relationships with friends? How does this impact my social life? And how does this impact me? You see, your true north is something that guides all aspects of your life, not just certain components. So if you found yourself having a hard time answering some of these questions with the true north that you've landed on, go back and dig deeper. Now, I do want to point out one thing, and some of you are probably going to get upset with this, but that's okay. But if your one thing, if your true north is connected to another person, it is not your one thing. A person is not your true north. Not only do people come and go for any number of reasons, but your true north is something that guides every single decision that you make. No one other than you should be influencing your decisions. And for this reason alone, your true north has to come from within, not from somewhere else. So, like I said earlier, this takes a lot of reflection, self-awareness, honest conversations, and personal bluntness. It's not something that you're going to figure out in one sitting or one conversation or one Friday food for thought video. But I do want to talk with you next week about how you leverage your one thing, how you leverage your true north, or how you leverage your one thing as your true north. So I want you to take some time in the next week and really dig into this further. And if you need to replay the video to get all the questions, do it. Replay it as many times as you need to. And if you're really, really struggling to figure it out on your own, then ask some friends or family members or coworkers who you trust. Those who are going to tell you the truth, not the ones who are going to tell you what you want to hear. And ask them, in what you've observed or what you've learned about me over the time that we've known each other, what is the one thing that you think I truly could not live without? What is the one thing that I hold in the highest regard? Now, they might not hit the nail on the head, but they'll be able to give you some new insight to consider at the very least. And also, don't hesitate to reach out to me. This is what I do. So I'd love to dig in deep with you to help you find your true north. I hope you found this helpful and have a great weekend. Mwah!